A special good morning to our listeners, those of you via Classic Radio. Good morning, wherever you're listening in, of course, within the Tri-Islands. Of course, Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique. Good morning and welcome to another edition of To The Point. With what you listen to 104.0, that's one of you in 105.7 or 105.9. Good morning, 105.5. Am I giving us wrong frequencies this morning? What's up with me this morning? Anyway, good morning to you. Those of you viewing GBN TV, whether it's Channel 7, Channel 11, or Channel 20, good morning, welcome. What about those social media platforms? Good morning. Whether it's the Facebook page or the YouTube channels, good morning and welcome. It's Tuesday, the 19th day of September 2023. Good morning. And you know what happens on a Tuesday here on To The Point? We do, of course, entertain the representatives from the opposition. This morning we do have with us, of course, Senator Norland Cox. Let's go over to Senator Norland Cox and say good morning. Senator Cox, good morning. And how are you, sir? Good morning and welcome to another edition of To The Point. Nice to have you with us again.
Pleasant morning, GT, and it's a pleasure to be here. Let me take this opportunity to say morning to all your GVN fans, subscribers, also to persons throughout the Tri-Island state. Also, we cannot leave out persons who are in the diaspora. They play a critical role in what we do here at home. So we want to say a special morning to them as well. It's a wonderful Tuesday.
All right. Thank you so much. And of course, as I mentioned before, welcome once again to an edition of The Point. Seem to be a bit frequent to us these days. Thanks. I'm happy to have you. Let's kick it up. Let's kick the conversation off this morning. You being, of course, as my assumption, there's nothing official about it, but one of the persons from the new National Party will be looking after the affairs instead of the sister isle of Carriacou. Am I right to say that?
Yes, that is correct. I am the person handling the political lead, so handling all the political work for the party, leading the work for the party on the sister isle currently. Yes, that is my responsibility. All right, something that I'm very excited about.
All right, happy to know that. I mean, you being, of course, a son of the soil of that particular island and being up Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, I guess it's something that you certainly will be happy about, I would assume.
Certainly. I've been a member of parliament since 2014, so I've been a public servant for 17 years. I've been serving for quite some time, so it's something that I love doing. It's who I am, it's what I do, and I've been doing that through the National Party successfully, and I'm comfortable to continue in that regard.
All right. I want us to spend some time talking about the affairs inside of Carriacou. We've been hearing about lots taking place. Maybe you can of course, give me if that's correct in terms of me saying that or not, in terms of the rural administration. Of course, they've been speaking about lots that have been taking place in the sister isle of Carriacou in terms of the infrastructural work and so forth. You being from the opposition, give us a breakdown in terms of the state of affairs inside of Carriacou. What is really taking place inside of Carriacou from an opposition perspective, if I could say that?
Yeah, I probably don't want to start there this morning, but Carriacou is a place. It's a home that is dear to Carriacouans, and what we see taking place does not reflect or represent Carriacouans' values in any way whatsoever. I mean, as I said, I've been around for quite some time. I've worked through successive governments as a public servant, and what I'm seeing here now, I've never experienced that. The level of divisiveness, and let me give you an example of how far this divisiveness is deeply rooted. This year's celebration, the independence celebration, and there have been a speech was read speaking about, persons who would have paved the way as we leading up to 15 of the discussion up to 50. And there was discussion about working together and togetherness that was also read in the speech. But in recognizing the persons who have paved the way, no mention was made of the now deceased Honorable Elvin Nimrod. May God rest his soul. No mention. The longest serving parliamentary rep for Carriacou and Petit Martinique was not mentioned as one of the persons who paved the way going forward in that speech. A mention was made of Sonny Nicholas Braffett, of course, Ishe Blaze, who is a stalwart Carriacouan, mentions were made of also Mr. Michael Caesar, who have served Peter Malik in Carriacou, Stanley, and other persons. But no mention was made of the Honorable Elvin G. Nimrod, who served Carriacou, the longest serving parliamentary rep. So that is only one example of the level of divisiveness in trying to really explain what is taking place in Carriacou. As the public would know, there have been a number of firings. Persons continue to lose their livelihood. If you were to critique the officials in any way, be certain that some response is going to come, and any way that they can get back to you or your family, they are going to attack you. They do not want to be criticized in any way. We all make mistakes. We are not going to get everything right. You remember, you're serving people, and feedback from them is critical. So if somebody critiques you in a manner which you believe is probably not fair or unfair, that is not a reason for you to attack them personally and to take away their livelihood. I've never seen that level of attack and vindictiveness and divisiveness. I've never seen it. And to tell you how bad it is that it's even spilling over to even supporters of the National Democratic Congress. They are the ones that are also feeling the wrath of the person who they voted for. And so that is telling you how far it is going. So if supporters are getting it, you could imagine persons who are sympathetic towards the National Party, what they are going through. And that is one of the things that is most disappointing about what is happening. As I indicated the last time I was here, there are some projects that are welcome and good for the development of Carriacou and Peter Malik. And we support that. We support whatever is good. But we have a responsibility to single out where the real issues and concerns are. And that is what we are doing. We will continue to do that. There is a stagnancy in some cases in terms of what is taking place from an economic standpoint in Carriacou, business-wise. I don't think that there is the level of experience to deal with that in terms of how to create economic activity and some things to do in terms of opportunities for young people. I am not surprised that is not happening because the lack of experience to deal with those matters are not present. They wouldn't know how to deal with those. So I'm not surprised of some of the things that is happening. One of the things, again, there is always talk about transparency. There's always talk about transparency. And the National Party, we have served Carriacou outstandingly. If you just go back a little bit, GT, just to mention, the Ministry of Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs was established under the new National Party administration by Sir Elvin Nimrod, by Honorable Elvin G. Nimrod. He saw the vision to establish a ministry for Carriacou to help with the services, to help meet the needs of Carriacouans. Among plenty other important projects, the establishment of a daycare to help mothers who may want to go to work and need some place safe to drop the kids off for the day. That was done under us. A resource center, community centers, a number of things. So there is outstanding results to show, achievements to show that what we have done, and even over the past 5 years, Honorable Kindra Maturin Stewart would have served in terms of work, in terms of support for young people, outstandingly. So I say this in the context of where we are now. And we are seeing, like, for example, there is a talk that this is the most transparent government, and that is far from the truth. Very, very far from the truth. Like, for example, we heard recently that some persons received scholarship. I can never, ever recall previously, and even under previous NDC governments, whenever persons receive or awarded scholarship opportunities, the public made aware of who those persons are, some sense of value of what the scholarship, the summary scholarship, what value, how much is being invested because it's taxpayers' money. And in some cases, there is a ceremony to present, the scholarship packages to the awardees. I'm sure you have seen that even on the mainland on several occasions. But now we're hearing that some persons, Carrickons, will have received opportunities to go. Why are the names not released? Why we don't know who are the persons who received those scholarships? And just to say, well, look, the scholarship, the summary scholarship, is a cost of $10, $20, whatever the case may be. So at least persons can know what taxpayers' monies are being used for and who is investing in it and how much. And I think everybody as Carrickons will be proud to know, hopefully Mandicans will be proud to know who got an opportunity to go and study. I recall, and now it's a fact, some of the majority of our doctors now, educators, engineers, receive scholarship under the new National Party administration, who are now driving this country in all those important sectors. And we have never looked at party lines. And the evidence is there. Persons who receive scholarship, whether for doctors, whether it's for engineers, whether it's for education, some of those are not sympathetic towards the National Party, and they receive scholarship because we have been approaching it fairly. So I don't know why the sudden change going down that road, trying to divide Carriacou in that manner. I think that is the saddest part for me as a Carriacouan. It's something that it pains me to talk about it. Just look recently, the firing of Sebastian Still. We're talking about the lone coach, only coach in the state of Grenada who has a certification from the International Boxing Association.
Senator Cox, could you tell me the whole issue about that issue? I've been hearing about it. Not much details from you being, of course, in the system. What was the real issue behind that with that?
Well, I am still puzzled. I believe that firing was done within the context of him being perceived to be sympathetic towards the National Party, and I believe that is the general consensus in which he was relieved. And I said it. Remember, I said it the last time I was on. I said more persons are going to be fired. I said it. Persons call and say all sorts of stuff, and I'm saying it here again. You think more persons are going to be severed going forward, and I'm saying it here again. Because I know they have plans to fire more. Yeah, right. So I'm saying it. Yeah.
All right. I want us to
issue.
Go right ahead.
Speak a little bit, yes, about on the Sebastian matter. It's alleged that some letter was written. Somebody indicated to me that they saw it. But I was overseas and somebody commented when they saw this letter. And in the letter, some reference was made, like a letter. I think a letter was written to him, giving reasons why he was terminated. And some of it, the only thing I could do is just laugh. One of the reasons was that he is plotting with the NLP on a weekly basis against the Minister for Carriacou Competitive Affairs. My God, as God above. That is so. It's so wrong. It is so wicked. It is. Why would you do that to the gentleman? None of those things ever happened, and it's so sad that they went. I think there is some allegations were made in the letter about sexual harassment in the workplace and all kind of stuff. So I haven't seen it. As I said, somebody called me and told me about it, and I haven't even spoken to him in detail as to what really transpired. We haven't really spoken in that regard. As I said, I was out right after the last Parliament sitting. I had to travel for for some urgent personal matter. So, I mean, I'm saying this to tell you, GT, I mean, it's not pretty. And I don't like to be speaking about Karaku like that. I really don't. It's not something that I'm pleased about. But it is important that we see where the concerns are, because we believe that it could be changed. We could reverse this behavior, we could reverse this attitude, and allow for better things to happen. Some parents have been calling me about the voucher. I mean, they didn't get. I don't know. I mean, this is something that we would normally do publicly when we have vouchers for assistance for students. This is something that the National Party will do publicly. We'll call a gathering on all the persons who recipients of the vouchers. It's a public event, so people see that persons receive and who receive the vouchers. No, to me, it's like everything is done behind the door. It's a phone call, quietly. Just some persons are benefiting, and it is sad. And I mean, it is really sad. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. But that is not how that is not we as Karakoans. I mean, I really can't support that, and hence the reason why I'm speaking out strongly about this. Yeah.
All right. I wanted to talk to you about, of course, the level of infrastructure work that is taking place in the Sister Isle of Carriacou. We've been hearing from the present administration that lots is taking place in terms of infrastructure. What's your take on that, being the opposition representative in Carriacou?
Well, in terms of infrastructure work, what I do know is that only one major project that I know, which is the Bele Road, that is the largest in terms of cost. That's a project that is the only project I know that is above $1 million that is being done. And I did spoke strongly about it, that I believe that it should have been done under contract and not day work. What I'm hearing is that they are changing out contractors on the job. So I mean, I don't know. Work of that nation, that size, there are certain standards, certain criteria that must be implemented. I don't know if they're doing testing on the concrete. That is a normal thing. You're supposed to have testing the PSI for the concrete to make sure that it is of the right strength. I don't believe that is happening. I stand corrected. But I don't believe that has been happening for a project of that size. So there are a number of engineering standards that should be employed, and that is not happening because in the manner in which it's done, it's been done by day work, as far as I understand. And my concern with it is that it is going to take too long to complete, and being the lone road, the main road to the Princess Royal Hospital, I think that that approach. That policy approach in terms of doing the road, the work is not one that is fitting and appropriate. And I advise the government that they should immediately issue a contract and have the road done as quickly as possible. So that is the major stuff that I know. And then another project that I know is a fish center. We know what, which I spoke about the last time. It's just a few minutes away from where I live, and that is a welcome project. The fishermen are going to be happy for that, and the whole facilities needs to be demolished, and so that is good. I think there's some work being done in Mount Pleasant School, but apart from that, it's just small things, some drains and maybe a couple of feet of road here and there, a couple hundred feet of road here and there, but nothing of any significance as far as I know. I don't know if there are plans to do more. But those are standard things. Those are normal things. Those are routine work that happens throughout every administration, road work. So I don't know if there is anything to be blown away about. So that is, I mean, I stand corrected if there are other projects where that is being done, but I have no knowledge of such. Yeah.
Of course, as the opposition representative inside of Carriacou, what sort of you are looking forward to, or maybe thinking that, in terms of development inside of Carriacou, that you would have liked to see the present administration put some priority into? What are you looking at that you're not seeing happening in terms of priority development for the Sister Isle of Carriacou and Petit Martinique?
Well, it's not just. There are a number of critical things, and I think there is a lack of understanding as to how to go about doing these things. And I think a lot of it is clouded by this hatred or anger towards persons who is perceived not supporting you. And I think that is affecting what should take place. I mean, a lot of talk about healthcare. There's been a major discussion for Carriacouans. The agriculture sector also, there is also an area, it's an area of my competencies, and so I know that there are several things that can be done to improve in that area, which has not been happening. But more so, the youths, opportunities for job. I don't think that they understand how that is done, how to create job opportunities for create the environment for those job opportunities. So those are the three major areas I think that they are failing miserably in, especially for the youths. The youths are they're somewhat lost. They campaign a lot and creating opportunities for youth, permanent jobs for them, and I hear a lot of talk about technical and vocational. But if you listen, I've listened recently to my colleague, Senator member in the Senate, the Minister for Education, who spoke about it. They seem to be a long way off in terms of fleshing out how they are going to do this. They are looking at standards and they're working with the training agency, but it is not properly thought out as yet. And I've listened to the Prime Minister as well. They're still talking about what needs to happen, and they're not saying what they are going to do. And I think the young people, and that's not my word, that's their quote, that the time is now for young people. That is what was said, and not the future is now. So the youth side, I know that they are very much disappointed. They have, for want of a better word, been lied to. Given false promises and false hope, and I think that is something that need to be addressed. I mean, we would have done things. I know things that we have done to enable persons to get jobs, and I could give an example because somebody may ask, Cox, what you did? What did you do when you were there? Because those questions like to come because they don't understand. And sometimes I don't really speak a lot of things that we would have done. And maybe that's one of our faults as well. We had engaged, especially from the Carriacou standpoint, knowing that Carriacou is a maritime area. A lot of people make their livelihood through the sea. We had embarked on a significant training over a period of time, giving young persons an opportunity to gain a safety at sea certificate, an SCCW certificate. It's an international certification that is required for any person who wishes to be on a vessel deck. For any person, if not a deck hand also, you must have this certificate. And I say the GT because if you call the owner of a ship or a boat, the first thing they ask you, do you have an SCCW certificate? They don't ask if you have a passport. They don't ask you anything. The first thing they have, or a transfer book, a discharge book, and SCCW certificate. Those are the two most important things. Passport come third, or permit, seaman permit come third. And we were able to secure support, funding from a number of institutions and also government to train over 90 young men and women. I'm proud to say that I was part of that, who even wrote that project, come up with that concept and wrote that project and got support to train those persons. And to date, those persons are working all over the region. Some of them, I see them captaining boats here locally, and some of them they are overseas working. And so that is some of the initiatives that I'm talking about. How are you going to create the environment for persons to find meaningful jobs and not just give people wild promises, and when they vote for you, and they can't find you hiding, you're ducking from them. I mean, it's really disappointing. And so that is one of the areas that is really need some work to be done.
All right. Senator Cox, we drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue more of the program here on To The Point. We'll be right back, folks. Stay with us.
The National Lotteries Authority is a proud sponsor of many cultural activities within the Tri-Island state of Grenada.
My name is Anderson Matheson, also known as Leftist, and I'm a calypsonian and string band music player from Carrico. I support the games of the National Lottery Authority because culture benefits tremendously. Annually, the NLA supports the Carrico and Petit Matinee Carnival, the Carrico String Band Music Festival, and all regattas, among other activities. When I play the game of the NLA, I can see where my money goes, and it's an investment into our culture.
Yes, Grenada, when you play the games of the NLA, you enable us to invest in the skills and talents of our people in the areas of sports, culture, and nation building.
Carelessly, I was tossed out. I was considered trash. And many thought that's all I'd ever be. Some told me to give up, go back to the landfill, so that I could take 450 years to decompose. No, I dream of a different life, of being part of something better, stronger, and more purposeful.
If given a chance, your plastic would choose to be put to more beneficial use. Choose recycling.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. It's To The Point for today, Tuesday, the 19th of September, within the year 2023. And with me this morning, we have Senator Norland Cox with us for representing the opposition New National Party. Senator Cox, welcome back, and good morning once again.
Thank you.
I want to, of course, just divert our attention this morning to a wee bit. Sometimes it's a conversation that, most times we don't actually get into. Let's talk about, let's focus a wee bit on the achievements of the New National Party over the years, especially maybe from within your tenure, maybe that you can speak of. You said you're also being a public servant for a wee bit, so you could probably speak a whole lot on some of the achievements and where the comparison. And I'm not sure where you want to start this morning on that segment in terms of the achievements of from the New National Party, where in the comparison to the NDC. Some folks may say the present administration has only been in government 14 months, but let's talk about some of the achievements and differences that's made within the New National Party and the NDC time that they're in power for the last 14 months, if there is a reason to weigh a comparison.
Well, I think we'll have to have a separate program just to do with the achievements because the list is so long. But let me carve out a small portion in respect to a recent press conference that was held by the Housing Authority with the Minister responsible for housing. I think that is something recent, and that is something that it is frontal in our community. The whole issue of housing is something that this administration have as one of the key pillars, and also it is one of the issues that is affecting Grenadians and Carricoans and Pinamatans mostly. So I think we could carve out that just because of time constraint. Now, it is clear that there is no comparison in terms of how we have approached providing support, providing housing for the people of Greater Carrico and Petit Matinee. and we have been outstanding in doing so. And even with the recent housing developments that is just about to be issued to recipients or Ghanaian citizens who are deserving of a place that they can house their family. And so we have been outstanding as regards to that. And I was very disappointed to hear the Minister for Housing indicating that they did this comprehensive review and there seemed to be some political interference. And I listened to everything, and he could not point to any issues, and even some of the questions that the reporters asked. Did this person receive this unfairly? Was there any transferring of units? And there was no evidence of such. And he made this point that they don't want to have no political interference at the board level. But GT, if I could refresh the nation's memory, we hear about the issues in the Greater Development Bank, interference at the board level, allowing for members of government, of the cabinet, to receive a loan ahead of our poor fishermen or farmers or business people who've been waiting for a loan for how long? Now we hear ministers of government been getting loan overnight. We heard it. So there was interference at the board level politically. The Marketing and National Importing Board, you listen to the news, I think GVN is the one who covered the story with the last chairman of the board and what he said. So there are interference there. Now, also, we are hearing also, I think there are some changes at the board level there too as well. And the reason for that is because there have been political interferences. So for the minister to come out to give the public impression that the New National Party have been influencing decisions at the board level at the Housing Authority of Grenada, it's false, when all evidence shows that is what they have been doing. That is how they have been governing. Look, you have a manager, a general manager of the Housing Authority, who have been there through successive governments. Check it back. He have been there through NDC governments, through NNP governments. We never changed him. We never interfered with him. He performed his role. And whatever policy we move, we try to implement. But we're hearing, no doubt, that he has resigned. You have a press conference on the way forward for the authority, and the general manager was absent. He's not there. So there seemed to be some things going on in the background that led for that resignation. That's what we're hearing, that he has resigned. I can't confirm as yet, but that is what is happening. And I think this is crazy. So, but what was even most glaring, and I'm telling you, in terms of the performance of NDC in regard to NDC, we could take 1 year, GT, any 1 year in from NNP governance, and it will surpass any year that NDC has been in charge of this country, and the nation knows it. And let me say this. He also mentioned that he did this study. You come publicly with a major policy decision and you have not discussed it with the cabinet. I've never heard that. I don't know what kind of management or what kind of leadership is taking place. But you have a major policy decision that is going to affect people. The very said parliamentary reps in the constituencies where those housing units are, they are going to be impacted because, of course, the constituents are going to reach out to them. So I don't understand how you could come and announce a major policy decision and the reps in particular at least if you didn't inform the whole cabinet, but at least the people who, the parliamentary reps, their constituencies were impacted, who are their colleagues, should know. So it says something. He did say that he informed the Prime Minister, but I don't know to what extent he informed the Prime Minister. So I can't blame the Prime Minister or say anything in any regard. The Minister took responsibility because I don't know how much information that he would have given the Prime Minister. So the issue there is, it doesn't make sense. And I think there was some lack of insensitivity as regards to how it was meted out. Yes, there is delinquency in terms of repayment. And I know that the authority, the workers, the staff, I know that they have been doing this for years and trying to reduce the delinquency rate. In any borrowing institution, you go to the banks, I mean, they will tell you there is delinquency. The credit unions, there is delinquency. So I don't think how it was done, I don't think that was the right approach. I think it was a bit insensitive. I think if they had taken a more localized approach, maybe go to the units, the housing units, and the site, and have a meeting on site with everybody. I knew that they would have done one-on-one or reach out, but I think approaching from that standpoint, I think that would have been better place. That is just my opinion. And I think it was very, very, very.
Senator Cox, if I could chime in on you here for a wee bit in terms as you keeping your thought pattern a whole lot on the Housing Authority and the ministers, of course, briefing that they had a few days ago. Wasn't these issues known to the New National Party when they were in governance?
Those issues in terms of delinquency are constant. They have been there for decades. As I said, once you have any lending, there are going to be delinquency. And what he indicated was that for the low-income Chinese housing units, it was just about $2 million, a little over $2 million in delinquency. But I think I would have loved to hear the success rate in comparison to the delinquency rate. I think that would have been helpful as well, to know whether it's 50% delinquency, 10%, 5%, because sometimes it may be as small as 2 or 3% of the general amount that is loaned out. So I think that is what was missing. A picture was painted, $2 million is owed. But I mean, in the context of that, and the context of, we know the situation of some of the persons who are in the units. And you also indicated that is a major area for you in terms of addressing that. You said that you're going to build 500 gradient style houses yearly to address this issue. And you're far from that. We are not hearing anything about that. And so, yes, the issue have been there. There are always going to be delinquencies. But as the staff of the Housing Authority indicated, that it's a constant process, that they have been working at it for years.
Even with the issue, Senator Cox, even with the issue of repairs to the various apartments within the housing projects that we hear there's a need complaints from, of course, individuals who own those units or who own those units about the lack of repairs. How was that? Was that also been a concern with the New National Party in their reign in government, and why wasn't it not addressed? Why was it not addressed at all?
I could recall. Yes, I could recall that myself as minister receiving reports for repair work. I think the last call that came, I think, was a frequente, and we did send somebody in to do some repair work. Even the roadway into the complex, that was also done. That was an issue. But as indicated, there's always need for general maintenance. So what is happening is that the building is at a point where it requires general maintenance. It's just as any other building that government owns. The schools, GT, it's the same way that you budget and you invest for schools. So I am saying that if it is an urgent issue and the government have to find funds outside of the housing authority to address it, just go ahead and address it. I mean, we would have taken initiatives that cost the government more than $2 million, giving tax break, amnesty, for business people who, if you know me, and that is the reason why I'm saying this. I do not like the context in which it was done and how it was done, and make it to look as if this group of people don't want to pay. But we know for a fact, GT,
yes,
that there are persons businesses who owe government millions of dollars in taxes for decades, and successive governments have been working to try to get those monies paid. So that is a big issue, the long-standing, it's a chronic issue. And so I say that the context in which it was done by singling out this group of people, I think it was insensitive. Why didn't come out and say, do the same thing for all the business people who owe taxes? And some cases is monies that they collect for the state. They collect the state money and didn't pay it in some cases. So I think I really didn't like that approach, and that is something I think that should have been done a bit more tidy. Yeah, so that is just my take on it.
There was a question that was asked by, of course, an individual or a journalist pertaining to individuals who may have owned those, who may have paid off for the units and are not receiving any paperwork to indicate that they have paid off and know they have become ownership of that. From the New National Party perspective, when they was in governance, was that issue came up?
No, well, as I said, I mean, those things are operational stuff. It's a lending agency.
No, I just wanted to know if was that an issue between when the New National Party was in government and there was issues, because folks would say it's only been a year since the NDC is in power.
No, it has never. Listen to me. It has been the major issue and concern that we have always had as a national party is to find suitable housing for people who can afford, and that has been our policy. Hence the reason why we got support from friendly governments for housing units. Hence the reason why we have invested so much in the house repair program. And that is what we have been doing. And so the record shows that. And that is why we have been building houses where necessary, providing all the resources to do so. So operational matters are going to be constant. You're not going to eliminate delinquency in its entirety. But the authority is going to strive to reduce it as much as possible. I mean, I tell you, just check with any lending institution. There are always going to be delinquencies. There are always going to be. But in this case, because of the sensitivity, and of course, is at the state level, who the state have a responsibility to the people too as well. So it is not a hard and fast or just a cut and dry. No, let's suppose that one of the holders of the units started paying fine, or she, and fell ill. Is not able to work. So how do you treat with that? So, and if you recall, 61 units was gifted, and there is a reason and justification for such, and that is the context in which we are saying that. As much as you want the authority to function, from a business standpoint, you have to understand that the authority also is performing somewhat a kind of more responsibility from government standpoint in meeting the needs of its people that it serves, meeting the taxpayers. So it is not purely or solely business alone, but there is a moral component there. So I just think that is a little bit insensitive, and I just don't think that that approach was the right one. I think there is another way that it could have been done.
Senator Cox, we drew for a break. Let's take it. I have the final 15 minutes left of today's program. When we do come back, we'll do entertain some calls from our listening and viewing public out there. They may have a question or two they would like to throw to you after the break. So we're coming right back. Stay with us, folks. We're coming right back.
There is a fire that...
party in sport is back. CPL and WCPL return with more action than ever before.
Are you kidding me?
Watch the biggest names in cricket battle it out in the race for glory.
Brilliantly. Celebrate some more.
Get your tickets now at cplt20.com or at the box office. Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
Grenada's broadcast of Republic Bank CPL 2023 is made possible by Republic Bank. We're the one for you. The National Lotteries Authority, Grenlec, and Hard-On Plus.
Cricket fans, here's your opportunity to win 2 tickets to the Republic Bank CPL Final in Guyana, inclusive of airfare and hotel accommodation in the TV6 Republic Bank CPL Trivia Contest. There are also weekly prizes of tickets to the Republic Bank CPL matches and branded merchandise from TV6 and the Caribbean Premier League. To enter, simply download the TV6 app from the Google or Apple Store. Click on the TV6 RBL CPL Contest tab, answer the weekly trivia question, and submit your electronic entry form. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Download the TV6 app to be a winner.
Coming up on Caribbean Passport, the best young athletes from across the Commonwealth, all in one place? That's right. A regional banks initiative is demonstrating the power to make a difference. Healthy cooking, empowering climate change, and drastic love for Antigua and Barbuda. It's all next on this station.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back, Senator Cox. And it's to the point for today, Tuesday the 19th. Just approximately 12 minutes or so left on today's program, which means we are open for questions from our viewing and listening audience this morning. Let's go to the phone line and entertain our very first caller. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning to you, GT, and have a good day.
Same to you.
And good morning to your guest, Mr. Cox. Now,
good morning, sir.
I also do not like how this particular matter was handled. It was handled too raw. You know, we have to be more diplomatic because those are sensitive areas. But you see, I think we have a leadership problem for a long, long time. We have a managerial problem. We have very low diplomacy. And this thing will happen, it will widen. Cost is rising. Unemployment is high. How do you get rid of this thing? I have been saying over the years, to solve this problem, government have to position the economy to create avenues for jobs. People should be able to, through the work, through commerce, go to the bank on their own, buy lands, build houses, and do the things. Government have to give people every single thing, from clothes to shoes to food. Where will it end? Do we have the revenue to take care of this? The economy cannot take these things. And so it doesn't happen to this government or the other government. I'm saying it's something that should be looked at a long, long time ago. The economy is too sluggish, commerce is too weak, and now the population is reducing, cost is rising. We have to find a way to get the economy going. The Prime Minister talked about the building industry. I think he mentioned it about 20 times. And that's the area. Do we have the foundation for new structures? The roads. We have to do this. This is all part of extending the economy, providing jobs for people. But those things are not being done. We continue to depend on this little revenue year after year, borrow, beg. We're going to get to a point where we will not be able to find funds to run this country. We have to pay serious attention to the growth and expansion of the economy to allow commerce to take place, to create jobs and revenue. This is where we have to go. This problem we have, they should not occur. It should not happen.
Caller, take another 10 seconds and wrap, please, as we move along.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Senator Cox, any response to the caller's comments made?
Yeah. I I haven't heard in a long time somebody summarize the whole issue in the country like that on this program. And the caller is so correct. It's so correct that if you do not understand what needs to be done economically, it's going to affect all the other sectors that we see happening now. There's no proactive action to really do anything. I mean, people, the businesses are crying. They are crying. Some crying quietly because they may have supported this transformation. So some of it, they are very quiet. They're probably trying to do in the background to speak to people to see how they can get things moving. You have to find a way to create jobs, and you have to understand how to do that. If you do not know how to do it, which it appears their lives, they are going to find themselves, which we are going to find ourselves in other problems, and which we have seen it already. You have our main revenue owner, which is the CBI. I mean, and that's another story, because you can recall, and members of the nation can recall how much this government spoke ill of the CBI. All of a sudden, it's receiving a glowing recommendation from them. We're no longer telling our patrimony again. Now we're talking about revenue, but that's for another day. But I'm saying this in the context that the CBI is not sustainable. At some point in time, it's going to end, and they do not have a plan for moving, for generating revenue and creating economic activity, and that is what is happening. All right, it's crazy.
Let's entertain another caller. Before you continue, let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning, GT, and good morning to Mr. Cox. Mr. Cox, you was asked a question, and I didn't hear you answer this question concerning the housing. That some people mentioned they had finish pay for the house and then get no title in the hand. You didn't answer this question. I would have liked to hear.
Okay.
And
let me, yes, thank you for that.
They are Michelle. So let me see what I have to say, and then you go into thing. Mr. Cox, 7 years these people and them living in the houses, and they refuse to pay. Some people, they say, hello?
We're listening to you. Go right ahead.
Some people, they give them, I think, $300 a month. If these people and them, they care and concern of where they living, you stay in 3 months, you ain't pay, you having $900. You couldn't buy this lock, get somebody to arrange the lock and the door. You could have buy a 2 gallon of paint, and you paint up your section for everybody there in this section. And find that is the right thing these people and them could have do. 7 years you don't pay. And jack up the bill to all this amount of money, and now these people in the country have to work hard now to get this money to do this work, and you all still want them to waive over it, don't pay. This is very unfair, and this is not teaching people to be responsible for what they action.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Senator Cox.
Thank you very much. I think the caller raised, thank you for reminding me of the question, and I think the caller raised a very, very critical issue. All right, and the issue is, I'll do the last part first and do the first one afterward. Now, yes, there are delinquent persons. There are persons who might be not responsible in handling their matters, and that have to be addressed. All right, and it's not a matter of condoning delinquency. That is not what we are talking about. What we are saying is that it requires a deeper understanding of what is happening with some of the applicants, why they are not paying, and because we understand the sector. All right, that sector is the persons who have the reason why they have that facility to start with is because they are in a lesser fortunate situation. And what we are seeing is that we have seen that other support have been given to other sectors within the country without no worrying, just millions of dollars. What we are saying is that you would have done that. So just as how we repair schools, just as how we repair government building, just as how a new place was renovated and is listed for the Prime Minister and foregoing the got the Prime Minister's residence. Just as how you make provisions for that, we are saying make provisions for renovating those areas, right? And that is all that we are saying. The issue in terms of the operational part, the delinquency part, the authority do have competent people to grind those matters and to reduce the delinquency as much as possible. But delinquency is something that would exist in any financial institution where lending and borrowing is concerned. Persons would start up very solvent, and in some cases down the road, they're just unable. And sometimes, as the previous caller indicated, that because of the situation in the country, the financial situation in the country, some persons find it much more difficult to make ends meet. So it's a combination of factors, and that is all that we are saying. Just be a little bit more sensitive, and we are not asking to just write off, but we're just asking, we believe that they should be a little more sensitive in addressing this matter. And in regards to the first matter, in terms of persons not receiving the deed when they finish payoff, that is an operational matter, and I mean I've not been aware of that being an issue, but that is something that the authority would normally do. That have to be processed. The deed, and I think the Governor General have to sign off it because it's a land matter, and that is the normal process for that. So I can't say why persons haven't received. I don't know if they wanted to do it as a bulk, but that should not have been an issue. And legally, the persons do have a right to receive their document indicating that that unit belongs to them. So it's just a matter for them to maybe to go through the legal process. I don't know if they had to get a lawyer to do their end or whatever the case may be.
All right.
But that is operational matter.
Let's entertain another caller.
Yeah.
Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Morning. Well, very quickly. I remember I recall that you asked Mr. Good day, Mr. Cox. You asked him after he spent the first half an hour criticizing the things that he didn't like. You asked him to say the things that he liked, and he mentioned one thing, and suddenly he went back into what he was doing before. So it seemed as though he came, opposition with a mind of criticizing. So he just couldn't, get off that wagon. In terms of the matter of the jobs. My question to you is, the people who have lost their jobs, are these jobs taken over by aliens, or are they taken over by other people in Carriacou itself? And where were these people working before? Is it just a case of jobs being recycled? Nepotism is never a good thing, but I think this is part of the legacy of the last 25 years that we have had with the NNP. So it will take a while for it to get fixed, but it should be fixed. But we don't expect it to be fixed overnight. Now, the matter of the scholarships, interesting. Scholarships was given at the middle of the night under all kind of questionable conditions until the last NDC government saw it fit to set up what is called a scholarship desk. So all the things we're talking about, all the transparency, they only came about in that first NDC term. The first term, in 6, the NNP had 5 of the last 6 terms. It took the NDC to set up a scholarship desk and to open this thing to some measure of transparency. Before it was very opaque.
Caller, I'm going to have to ask you. Caller, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap, please, because we are way over time now. We're due to wrap up.
I appreciate that. So we have to be very careful and objective and fair. And because we are opposition, everything is wrong. And when we are there, term after term after term, we don't seem to be able to see those things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Senator Cox, I know you may want to respond to the caller, but we are due for time, so I would just ask you to make some closing comments and let's take a wrap.
Quickly, yes. I just want to thank the caller for raising the questions and raising his concerns. Quickly on the matter of on the positive, I did spoke about the roads that have been done. I think that and basically, I don't know of any other thing. Most of the stuff are routine stuff, so it's not anything new. I think it's in the context of new initiatives that the question was placed, and hence the reason why I responded. Just normal stuff, routine stuff that takes place in government is I wouldn't see that as anything new. All right. The second thing had to do with the whole issue of firing, and And the color may be right to a certain extent in terms of some degree of that happened in the past. But what we are seeing is an escalation. It's an escalation. There is a tendency and there is an expectation that some persons are going to be replaced from a political standpoint. That is understood, and that is always known and accepted. But what we are seeing is going much farther. It's deeply rooted, and it is worrying. And I really wish the caller was in a position to understand and to feel what is being felt here in Carriacou. And I think maybe that is the reason why he doesn't, because I think it's the second time he had raised that issue on this program. So I think it's within that context. So I don't really blame him for just looking at it from that standpoint. But you have to understand, when you have a close community like Carriacou, where everybody knows everybody, it is entirely different. And there are families. I mean, just imagine a family member.
So the Gogs, I know you would like to, of course, go on with it, of course, in commenting this morning, but we drew for time. It's already 5 minutes after the hour. I want to thank you once again for being with us this morning, and it was hoping we'd have you again and we could go further into the discussion. Sometimes an hour is just not enough to say all that needs to be said. So thank you once again for being on the program, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope I get to come on before we close up for the year.
All right, hopefully so. Hey, folks, that's what we take a wrap for To The Point for today. Thanks all who contributed some way or the other. Have yourself a great day, and all the best. So we say goodbye.